Bleach Bros, bro.
This is a story of long, long ago, when hippopotamuses reigned upon our world. They came from outer space and made blue spaceships. They landed on the earth and began to eat us. And they came in assorted colors.
Welcome into the Bleach Brothers podcast. And Jake, what the hell's up with the Hippos, bro?
Dude, okay, so that is an old, I guess, band from me in high school with some friends where we would come after school. It was called Death Squad Acoustic. And we made an album called 1 Minute Wonders because we actually did it on just the record, like, little thing on the computer where you can only record a minute at a time. So we made songs. And we would just, the cool part was we would just come up with, like, just random things to sing about. Like, so it was, like, actually like freestyling, right, for rap, but with acoustic guitars and just, emo punk kids, I guess. But the reason we're playing that one from that little album that we did is because we have a new mascot, B-word.
We do have a new mascot. You want to introduce him?
Yeah, Sal the Salty Hippo.
Sal the
Because
Salty Hippo.
our you know how the Slipknot has maggots and the Dad on Dayquil, friends of the show, their show, they have the Dayquillers. Everybody's got their own little following. Well, our followers are our Salty Hippos.
I like the Salty Hippos.
And the reason for that is because I'm an angry. No, it's because what is it?
It's because I look like Moto.
You do. You look like you're a hungry hippo. Bro. No, I actually wanted to do a play on Bleach. So what is it? Sodium hypochlorite is the
sodium
actual
something
chloride.
like that.
So
yeah.
Sodium is salt, and then hippo is for hippos.
Hippos.
So yeah,
Very
don't
good.
trust hippos though. That song that was actually with a friend of mine from high school who we have on the show tonight, AJ Wyatt, who we actually also play his other music from Wyatt and the Ashes.
Welcome
in,
buddy.
AJ.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Oh, man. Thanks for having me on. It's going really good.
What do you got going on in the whole world of your projects right now?
Well, Wyatt and the Ashes, we're busy at work writing. We're going to have David lay down some drum stuff soon. We're really excited about the new music. I think all 5 fans will be pretty thrilled about what's coming up. And then I've been pretty busy at work playing bass with Jerk. We got a huge show here in Vegas, November 8th with Teenage Bottle Rocket and the Last Gang, doing the whole Fat Records lineup. So that should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That should be a good time. So you guys had this 1 Minute Wonder record, and you want to elaborate on this a little bit more? Like, what exactly was the music on this thing? Because I heard the intro to this one, and buddies, it is like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's some would deem it hard to listen to, but others would consider it orgasmic magic. And it's the memory. I think we recorded all these the same day. We had my shitty home computer that could only do like 1 minute voice memos. So we're just like piling through these songs. I'm on acoustic and I'm just playing bar chords as fast as I can, basically. And then, Jake would kind of come in. He was kind of like the lead creator lyrically, I think, for a lot of these. I think my claim to fame on there was my cover of the Goldfish jingle, which I think did really well in high school amongst our friends. but man, yeah, I couldn't erase that day from my memory if I tried.
Yeah, we piled in that room. There was one other person in there who was not the coolest members of Death Squad Acoustic, Julian.
Yeah, definitely out of the 3, number 3.
Yeah, because I actually have an apology for you, AJ, too. I don't know if you remember this. So me, AJ, and Julian used to all hang out, and Julian had that shitty little car with the Misfits sticker on the back. And AJ borrowed an album from me one time. And Julian, I'll just say this, and AJ, you can tell me if I'm wrong here. He was a fucking pot stirrer. This kid was like a marshmallow with toothpick legs. You know those big guys, but their legs are so small, like they never hit leg day.
So
like
he was SpongeBob.
Yeah, their legs also never hit Subway.
It was Jonah Hill, but not cool.
Yeah, so he convinces me that I need to be mad at AJ one day, and I don't know, I'm a fucking little asshole, so I'm like, yeah, why? And he's like, he scratched your CD up, which now to this day I think Julian did. So I walked up to AJ, I come to get this album that he borrowed, and I push him against the door. Julian's like, yeah, get him, Jake. And then after that, none of us hung out with Julian anymore. Me and AJ became cool again. But I mean, he was an ass. And out of the songs, they're my least favorite, but it is what it is.
So I've been doing a podcast with Jake now for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or better, right?
You're doing really well, I think.
And this thanks, buddy. And this once a week, like, I'm pulling my hair out because I have to interact with this guy. How the hell could you be trapped in a room, even for 1 minute songs, with this annoying ass voice? And on top of that, you've got his face to deal with.
Yeah, once you get used to the face, the personality just kind of follows. You kind of accept it. There's no in between. There's no love. It's love or hate. Okay, it's either you get on board or you get the fuck off, and that's just
fuck you both. you guys are talking about me like I'm that ugly chick that somebody drank too much and fucked one time, and you're like, well, you had to do it. I was there, I was hammered, and the face sort of sucked, but she had a good personality. Like,
I'm talking much higher of you than I would that chick.
Jake, you are the Rosie O'Donnell of people that I would want to fuck.
I'd fuck a Tesla truck.
Rosie has a bigger dick.
Dude, she's got the cousin at Chewbacca dick, I bet.
I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get canceled before I get started, boys.
That's all right, man. You know how to work around that. You start your own damn podcast.
So you got Jerk, you got Wyatt the Ashes. I do love. So you guys are working on the second album. Is it just the sequel to Purgatory, or?
It's gonna be. This is the big one. I don't know if you heard the big news about the producer that we got on board.
Is that from Saves the Day?
No.
Okay,
no,
sorry.
No.
Then who we got?
David Schiffman.
Okay.
David Schiffman did the Pup records, the recent Pup records, Thrice.
Yeah.
So I actually had a video conference with him about a month ago, and we're trying to set a date for after the holidays to record the big boy.
Nice, dude. Congrats, man. That's
wow.
awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
awesome,
I'm really
dude.
excited. So we'll see. I mean, it could, who knows? Knock on wood. It could be one of those things where I just keep getting put under the pile. He's got a lot more important names than us. But I've been in contact with him for a year and sent him pretty much every song along the way. And it wasn't to this last batch that he was like, "Yep." He goes, "That's what I was looking for." And I said, "Fuck yeah!" So
good
nice,
shit,
dude.
man.
No, because I've been a fan since day one, as you know. Being maybe a little bit of an annoying fan. I know I wrote one of the best reviews that anybody's ever written of a band.
And will ever.
Yeah. A gazelle humping a wildebeest at the sunset. And I went through every band member for you guys and gave you a little compliment. So lineup changes, anything? What's happened with you guys since the last album?
That was a smooth way of going into it. So let me start off by saying some positive things about Jake. All right, now okay. Jake was pretty much like OG member. Like even though I've known David, and you know David just as long. I've known him since 8th grade, and he's been my drummer. Off and on through the years. Jake and I were kind of the original duo, and him and I were writing together and playing together. And this is gonna sound so homo. I don't even care, but. It's really rare, especially in your fucking 30s, that you find somebody who musically and just friendship-wise, like, meshes with you so fucking well. Like, I could just play him a song, and he just came in with that icing on top, and he could harmonize with me really well. I've never had another human being's voice, like, really do that whole, I'll describe it as Beach Boys magic, right? Just that perfect natural harmonies that, like, we could hit and everything, and it was great. Now, Jake had told me that once upon a time in another life, he was a hardcore fucking addict. And he told me about things that he wasn't necessarily fucking proud of. But the guy that I knew, the guy that I met, in my mind, I'm just like, no fucking way. I'm like, there's no way that this guy is capable of these things. So, I mean, I accepted him, and, we both had a really cool bond, I think. And I was going through a lot of shit at the time, so it was just that perfect timing, I think. Unfortunately, I want to say it was right before COVID happened. He started hanging out with his chick, who was obviously fucking, walking that Boulder Highway life, and I could, the whole band could already sense like this isn't good. There's already some shit going on here, like he's not himself. And basically, the best way I can describe it is every time we saw Jake after that point, it was a little bit less of the guy that we knew. Physically and, personality, he just started becoming a different person. To the point where it was like we just had to do a clean fucking break. He had went MIA. You know, he had full custody of his son and everything at the time too. And I feel my heart breaks for his family and the people that really got to deal with that stuff. But he kind of disappeared, man. And last I heard, he got picked up in Utah, and he was doing some time on some charges. So like, as a brother, like spiritually, man, I'll always like love him and care about him. But just in life, it's just something I had to walk away from. And it's really sad because it's usually some of the best artists, the most talented people, the most, the people with the biggest hearts that end up kind of falling down that dark path sometimes, for whatever reasons they have. But that was pretty much that. And then Jeff, who was the original bass player, him and I were living together pretty much the entire beginning stages of Wyatt and the Ashes. And my dude didn't even play bass before. He saw what was going on over here with AJ and Jake, and he wanted him a little piece. He went out and picked himself up a bass and an amp, and I taught him all the songs, and he learned, man, and he was like dedicated, and he was probably more dedicated than most musicians I know that have been playing 30, 40 years. But, like, once again, life just kind of happens, and, he got busy, and we kind of went our separate ways after I moved out, and, and it was kind of time, like right now, I kind of got into writing, but it's quite possible that Matt from Jerk, the one of the guitar players for Jerk, is going to be playing bass for Wyatt and the Ashes.
Okay, I was going to ask, is that because you still had that stupid rule when we were going to have a band together? We were going to make another band, B Word, and I wasn't allowed in it because I didn't play an instrument. And AJ used to have a rule that you could not stand on stage even if you just held an instrument. So I should have just maybe brought a fucking triangle out, and I would have been able to be part of Wyatt of the Ashes.
Dude, I could honestly say that probably 100% of the asshole things that I did or the stupid things I did probably meant so little to my small asshole brain at the time. Like I wouldn't even remember. Like I don't even remember that now. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I probably did some asshole shit like that. But what's crazy and that I always lose sight of when I think about you is that we kind of picked up like right where we left off a little bit. You kind of can't help but do that. But what we both kind of like forget sometimes is that there's been like these whole other lives that have happened, like, between being in fucking high school and I didn't even graduate. Like, remember I moved to Florida. That was like a whole nother life, and fucking, 2 fucking marriages, 3 children, and you had so many kids or whatever. And, your whole career as a chef and everything, like we've lived like different, like long fucking lives already. That's kind of like changed us, but I'm glad that we can come back now creatively and as friends and be like, oh, nice to meet you again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I love, and I always explain this, that you have those friends or people that you come across in life, right? Mm-hmm. That it can drop and you might not talk for 10 years and then you pick up like you're saying and it's back to like, how it was. But I think we both acknowledge too those things happen. Like when I'm bringing up, your old rule, I'm obviously fucking around with you too. Like I know that back then, like I used to do asshole shit like that too.
Yeah. And so it's funny to me. You did play the skin flute, though, my man.
Fuck you. See, God, you can't even have a serious, like every time you know why you have B words of wisdom and I don't? Anytime I try to have a serious conversation, you talk about a dick in my mouth.
I'm just saying, dude, you can gargle peanut butter. It's amazing.
So anyways, back to my serious point besides gargling fucking peanut butter.
Or beef jerky.
Oh, fuck you.
So, Rosie O'Donnell. And say what you gotta say.
So no, it's but that you can come back and you can have those friends and you can start at square one and like there are certain people like, and I'm sure we can all list a bunch. Like one of them that I bring up a lot on the show is the Travis Thomas. When we had a radio show, we were the most inseparable duo, and worked so well together. Mind you, we hated each other when the mics were off, and then we'd come on and it'd be fucking magic. And it's one of those guys, I swear, if I talked to him tomorrow or he came on the show or anything, it'd be like it was fucking yesterday, like nothing ever happened. Like me and B Word, we started this and we've been friends since second grade. He jokes that we can't be in a room together, but I mean, obviously there's a chemistry here.
It's just because I can't fit in the room, bro.
Yeah, that's true. You fucking salty hippo. But no, I'm loving the projects you're doing. I'm a big fan. I've always described Wyatt and the Ashes as like Tiger Army, like esque, like that. Cemetery punk. Like, what would you consider you guys as? I'm trying to like. It's hard to put it in a box. I hate doing that, but
No, man, like, I like hearing like other people's, views on like what they hear, because dude, I'll tell you the truth, man, like I'll play my shit for people at work that are in their 50s or 60s, they never heard like our high school generation of like punk rock or alternative, right? And they'll still hear like, they'll be like, oh, that's kind of like Metallica or something. Like they'll pull elements from whatever it is that they fucking listen to. And like, that's how I kind of feel like I'm doing an okay job. Cause I mean, people will be honest. They'll say like, oh, I don't like the yelling parts or I don't like the screaming parts. But like, for the most part, people go, hey, that's not my style, but I don't hate it. I don't feel like covering my ears right now. So I feel like I'm doing an okay job when I do that. Now, like when I first started Wyatt the Ashes, I was listening to a lot of fucking Bayside. I was listening to a lot of fucking Trio. I was listening to a lot of that cemetery punk. And that was definitely always kind of like, I think the fanboy in me vision that I had for it, making the urn, right? That's right. Like my Alkaline Trio Heart skull in a way. That's my Misfits Fiend skull in a way, because I always envisioned like wanting that kind of like club feel with the band. Like I wanted fans to always feel like they were part of like the WADA Association and like Wear the Urn more than it was about like a band that needed, a million fucking views or whatever. But now, like, honestly, like I think creatively, like, I probably jump ahead too far. I think I should just focus on that like Cemetery Punk album, put that out. But honestly, man, it's been kind of like a trip over the past couple years. Like I've been influenced by so many like different kind of bands. I've tried to go more of like a whimsical route, like this weird alternative route. I kind of like having a song that's like reminiscence of like 90s Blur, and then another song that reminds you of, fucking totally something else, I like doing and representing like the sounds that I love, and then having it come through me in a different way that isn't completely like copycat.
Yeah, I mean, I think you you write very well. You're somebody I'm jealous of. Like when I was in bands, I was not a very good lyrical master. There's a difference, like when we even our Death Squad stuff or stuff. I was one of those people that could freestyle really quickly and make words sound good together.
Yeah,
but the story might have sucked. Now, when I hear yours, I mean, I can hear some of the influence. I can believe some of the stories from high school or whatever, and you can see that there's actuality behind it, and not just, oh, I'm making a song about being in a graveyard right now, and I enjoy that. When you also play in Jerk, do you see two sides of that coin where it's like you can express yourself in two different ways, or it's like I'm over here, I'm just going to do this, but I'm over here, I'm just going to do this, or do you sometimes try to combine them, or like how do you work with that?
I kind of feel like Wyatt in the Ashes is like my fucking muse, like my poetry, right? Like that's my fucking heart project. And for me, Jerk is like an athletic competition. Like, how many times can I swing this fucking bass around me in one show?
Gotcha.
Like, it definitely, like, but I need it, because what Wyatt in the Ashes unfortunately does to me, man, is I get in these modes where I'm here in this room that I call my laboratory, and it's just me fucking probably drinking too much and cooped up in this little fucking room, and it's almost borderline unhealthy, the amount of time that I can spend in here, like recording demos and stuff. So Jerk is kind of like my much needed healthy, outing, to like be social, learn how to fucking talk to people, like,
right.
Be a normal fucking human being, and it just feels good. Like, and believe it or not, man, I was humbled really quickly, because in my cocky ass head, I'm thinking to myself, oh, these are easy fucking punk songs, man. Like, I wrote this, and this is weird, and, I can memorize this just fine. Like, what's fucking 20 Ramones core songs? But holy fuck, dude. Like, I was humbled so fast when you realize, like, the similarity of fucking these 20 songs, and these slight variations and everything you have to learn, especially when it's not your song. I found out like I don't have the memory capability that I would for something that I wrote versus something I learned.
Right.
So I was humbled pretty quick, man. I'm still learning some of these guys' songs, to be honest with you. But once I got to a comfortable point, and it was like, oh, okay, it's time to jump around, time to swing the bass, and just be the crazy punk rock bass player up there.
Nice.
Well, music is a huge influence, I think, on almost everybody. Obviously, you have a excellent talent, and you and your projects that you're working on with both Jerk and the Wada are just doing fantastic, dude. And Jake introduced me to your craft, man, and I have to tell you, I really enjoy your music, and that's not me saying it because you're on right now, but I'm slowly finding out that Jake might actually have an ear for good music, and it's starting to surprise me because normally everything that Jake listens to is just fucking garbage. And speaking of that, Jake had this amazing idea that we ran with, and we started the Everlasting Juke Box. And what the Everlasting Juke Box is it's a jukebox of songs or albums that that we want to memorialize almost everlasting, so just for eternity. And we kind of pick out a topic of what that might be. And so, Jake, do you want to introduce tonight's topic?
Yeah. So in vein of what AJ and me used to do, I figured tonight all of us can each pick a top 3 acoustic album to put into the Everlasting Jukebox that you would have forever. You can have some honorable mentions. You can have some stories behind it, but 3 albums that are all acoustic that you're just like, yep, have to have that. And so, being the guest, AJ, we'll let you go through your 3 and tell us why and who you picked and what's going on and whatever.
Okay. For me, this was almost. I probably had more than 3, initially, but for me, I'm a huge fucking fan of the acoustic stuff, especially from that like early 2000s, like late 90s, like emo punk rock stuff. So my 3 would be the Bayside acoustic album.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so this was like in their prime. This was after the release of the self-titled album, and this is before their last release. They had a drummer who passed away, right? So they kind of had that thing going on. They decided to still continue touring after even the death of the drummer, and they recorded pretty much at the time one of the best fucking acoustic albums of all their hits up to that point that you could fucking get your hands on, and it still sounds sexy to me. It still sounds good. Um, Second, you got to have 1998 Saves the Day acoustic EP.
It's a good one.
That's almost like, to me, like a block, a foundation block of kind of that early emo stuff. That's a good one. And then, of course, Swiss Army Romance by Dashboard Confessional. Out of all the albums he released after that, full band or whatever, nothing hits me fucking harder almost than just that like anthem-y fucking just hammering on that fucking open dad tuning, that classic Goo Goo Dolls tuning that I think Chris Carrabba used for that whole fucking record, where you just hit an open fucking chord of D and A. It's just da. So yeah, and then an honorable mention to the original Punk Goes Acoustic album, because I don't think it makes a jukebox for me because I don't love every single track. But like, there's 5 like real hardcore bangers on there. One of which, my favorite, would be Atari's acoustic. She's on her 8 of 9.
Right, 8 of 9. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, fucking that song kills. But so that's my honorable mention there.
Yeah. See, we usually don't put compilation, and it was hard because when I was doing this list too, I was in the same boat because I love Punk Goes Acoustic. Now I know there's 3 different ones. And the first one I think is the best album of all of them. Like, I love Firewater by Yellowcard on that one.
Yep. Yeah.
Which I also find funny if you listen to the second and third iterations of those compilations, they're not fully acoustic, which pisses me off. So I'm like, how do you have a fucking acoustic album and then not have an acoustic song? But I figured, B-Word, you'll go next because I'm going to get into some stuff with AJ, I think, because I think we have some similar albums. But what do you got?
All right, perfect. So I am not as much of a music head as you guys are. And so I'm just going to be honest with that. But I love fucking music. So that being said, as a kid, I remember being watching MTV and them having their unplugged concerts, right? Nirvana's Unplugged, when that come out? 94, I think. That one was absolutely just stellar. It was awesome to watch, but it's fantastic to listen to. And I'm a huge fan of Nirvana, so I went with that. Um, the other unplugged concert that I watched was Eric Clapton. Now I fucking love Eric Clapton, dude. He's just a beast on a guitar, but more than that, he has a vocal talent that's just phenomenal. And you look at the crowd that he hung around with the Beatles and Cream and all that sort of shit. I mean, his musical talent is just incredible. And then so his unplugged album is probably my favorite there. Now, granted, Jake, these probably do go under compilations because they are doing some compilations under the unplugged.
That's fine.
But the last one is Stained. Now, what I didn't realize is that Stained Unplugged, for me, was that was kind of my emo phase, if you will. Like Stained kind of had that influence over me as an adolescent, where shit's happening and life's going on and you're fighting with your parents or whatever's going on. And this became an album that I truly loved. And then when I started following Aaron Lewis on his individual tour, he actually does a lot of acoustic performances on stage, and I love damn near all of it. So those are going to be my top three. And what do you got, Jake?
So there was a good point that AJ made before he named his list, that most of this stuff's going to come out of the early 2000s, and all three of my albums do as well. I think that was that time and that era for the style of music that I was into. I know AJ was into, as that bands came out with those. Some of those bands came out because they were an acoustic band. So number one for me is Bayside Acoustic in 2006. I've never seen him live. I was supposed to see him 3 times, and the one weekend I was going to see him is when the drummer died in the wreck in Utah.
Wow.
And so they canceled that show. The second show I was supposed to go and I didn't get to go that night is when they did the acoustic set behind the House of Blues in that little gated area. Didn't get to see it. And then a third time they were supposed to come up here, and then they canceled that show too. I don't know why. And tell me if I'm wrong on this, AJ. On that album, when they did that, Winter is about the drummer dying, right? The song?
That's what I thought. But there's also, I felt like, some drug references in there. I don't know, I mean, that's just how I interpret it. But I always felt like, yeah, that being the first track, that was like dedicated, like an angel lost his wings today.
Mm-hmm.
Yada yada, yada yada. I don't mean to undermine it at all, but yeah, I think it was about him.
It's one of those albums too, like Devotion and Desire. That song comes on, no matter what it does, I'm gonna listen to it fully through.
Yeah.
Act like I can play on my like strum air guitar. It's just one of those acoustic albums too. It's not just, as you were saying earlier, just like Dada. Like, it actually has really nice chords, very good writing. So an amazing album.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say real quick that Bayside is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to their guitars and their music. And if you haven't heard their latest Hetero Bang, it's on another level, dude. But I know you're getting your list. But
no, I'm going to check. Yeah, I have it. I totally agree with you there. The second one for me is a band I actually found on MySpace when MySpace music was the thing, when you would go find from 2005, Secondhand Serenade. Their first album they came out with at Wake. John Vesley. I don't think he's the greatest. I think at the time he seemed like an amazing writer to me. And I that album just strikes a chord with me because the whole album's acoustic. He got big off of that. It was beautiful. I think everything else that he's released it's not that there's not talent with it. It's just not as good. I don't think it's as well received. He sort of had that Dashboard confessional curse, I think, too. You put a band behind him and it's like you sort of lose some of that magic.
Yeah.
Because what Chris Carrabba was in Further Seems Forever first. Dashboard Confessional was a side project. It got huge.
Right.
Because and I'll just say it, my number one album is Dashboard Confessional. And I had a hard time picking this because mine is actually The Places You Have Come to Fear the Most. When they released, that was the first one to come out. That was in 2000, released on Fiddler Records. And they only released 1,000 copies of it. And it did so well, they sold it to Drive Thru. And then it got re-released again in 2003, which is during the time when the album, I think, As Far As You Know, or I don't remember the name of that album, but was coming out. and Swiss Army Romance already came out, and Dashboard Confessional Unplugged was already happening. So it was like there was so much coming out in that time for him.
Yeah.
It was an amazing album. I originally thought I was going to put there's a band called the Scene Aesthetic.
Yeah, I remember them.
They were also another MySpace one, and I was going to pick their album instead of Secondhand Serenade, and then I remembered I listened to their self-titled, and there's a lot of non-acoustic songs, so I didn't think it was fair to put them on there.
Yeah.
But I'd love to highlight one more artist, and the reason I can't name him for another honorable mention is Kyle Castanelli out of LA. If you've ever heard of a band called Neural that was on Hopeless Records in the early 2000s, I've always been a huge fan. A well-written, amazing singer. I think they released 3 albums with Hopeless and then broke up. He went and did his own side project, and he has a lot of really good acoustic songs. Like Pseudo Romance is an EP that he released that I highly recommend. But he's released singles, and then I don't know. I know he still writes songs and music, but I would say if you get a chance to go listen to and you want to hear a guy with just a killer voice, great musical talent, he's somebody I've interviewed him before when I had my show in Vegas, and I think he's one of those people. I hope that he lands somewhere again on his feet, because sometimes there's musical people that just, the talent's there and you're just like, why can't other people hear this? So I'd highly recommend Kyle Castanelli if you've never heard of him.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. All right. So I think I wrote all these down.
Okay.
So let me know. Let me just do a recap here. So AJ, your top 3 are Bayside Acoustic, and then Saves the Day. Did I write that down right?
The acoustic EP, yeah.
Okay. And then Swiss Army Romance by Dashboard Confessional. And then you had an honorable mention with Punk Goes Acoustic. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm the non-musically inclined one here. I played trumpet for a few years. That was about it, guys. But I've got Nirvana Unplugged, Stained Unplugged, and Eric Clapton Unplugged. And then Jake, I've written yours down, Bayside Acoustics on there. And then you mentioned Secondhand Serenade. Was that the album name?
No, the album's Awake.
Awake? Okay. And then we've also got the same Dashboard Confessional, correct?
Well, my album was actually The Places You Have Come to Fear Most.
Okay. So The Places You Have Come to Fear Most. And then what was your honorable mention again?
The Scene Aesthetic, the band, and then Kyle Castanelli, an artist.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what you guys don't know is that I'm actually going to go read up on these and learn about them, because I feel like I don't even know much about these. I know Dashboard Confessional.
I figured you did, because they did an unplugged. No. I was going to say this B word. I will commend you that anytime I bring up music, like when I brought up Ice Nine Kills on here, you actually heard them on the radio, text me, and you go out and you do listen to some of this music and are finding that there's some good stuff.
And actually, yeah. So I went to a Halloween party this last weekend, and as I was driving down there, Ice Nine Kills was on the radio. I don't remember which Sirius XM radio station I was listening to, but all of a sudden I'm jamming to this song. I'm like, damn, this is a really good song. And I look at my dashboard, and I didn't confess, by the way, and I saw it was Ice Nine Kills on there, and I'm like, fucking Jake, this is a good song. So yeah, I'm actually impressed sometimes.
So AJ, speaking of, he went to a Halloween party, and we did the music stuff. Now, is there any other projects you do besides the bands? Are you doing any shows still, or?
So we're doing a Haunted Saloon podcast, just started back up. Basically, my plan with that is we're going to do a few episodes first and get back in the swing, and then I'll start dumping like all at once. Like, I'll do probably like a first season like dump, and then like get on a routine like time where I'm just like releasing. I'm just trying to get like all the material together before I start linking websites and linking all that stuff together and doing all that. I want it to be real nice and professional this time, because the first time around a Haunted Saloon, it was through another internet company, basically like being on a radio station. Not that I belonged to them, but they did all the advertisement for me, which was great. They did all the promoting. I just kind of showed up to the studio. So the difference now is we're doing it at the home studio, and like I have complete control and complete, work, to put all that together. But I think it's happening. I think it's coming along pretty well.
Nice. Well, if you ever need a guest, you can invite me. Fuck B word. I know on there you have the resemblance, and I know you're a big fan of Photoshop and stuff, of a Wolfman. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I being wrong there?
Wrong about what?
You are the Wolfman.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Okay. So since you are the Wolfman, and I'm a big fan. Last week we talked regular horror films, but I wanted to talk creature features, and I figured we could all do that tonight. And so, if you had to list top 5 creature features
Uh-huh.
of all time, and this is hard for me because I had to narrow it down to 5, and then I also did subgenres, just like music. I was like, oh, I can't fucking do that because
Yeah.
that's kaiju movies, and I'll do another list like that one day to piss B Word off because he fucking hates Godzilla.
Oh, I fucking hate Godzilla.
But because he doesn't have taste. What 5 are you putting in there, AJ, for your top 5?
All right, number one, American Werewolf in London.
It's a good movie.
It's a good one.
That's probably one of my all-time favorites, and especially when it comes to the creature features. Number 2, this goes as like classic cheese, like movie so bad it's good. Troll 2.
Oh, Nilbog Street, dude. I
Nilbog.
fucking love that fucking movie.
Nilbog. 3, this is kind of a recent favorite of mine, Zombievers.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. That's a fun one. I love the campy shit, man. I really do. And, when you do a creature feature, you got to have some of that. Number 4, and this is, you got to check it out. I bet you haven't seen it. It's called Chupacabra Terror.
No, I haven't seen that one.
You got to see it. It was originally a sci-fi original entitled Chupacabra Dark Seas.
Okay.
And it stars, remember the bad guy from Breaking Bad who owned the chicken joints?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he plays a mad scientist who captures a chupacabra and boards him on a cruise ship, like a family cruise ship. And of course, you know what might ensue afterwards. But the fucking it's a cheese fest. See, for me, like the perfect cheese movie is they meant to be serious.
Right.
Like they had every intention and every dollar that went into this film was to make a serious horror movie. And then they just too many B actors like shy and just a little bit of a budget like off. And it's just that perfect combination. And then number 5, fuck, dude, this is a recent one that I saw on, I'm going to have to look up the fucking title. Maybe I'll just pick another one for now. I'd say like the Critters,
Okay,
the
good.
Critters franchise. But I gotta find this title of this one. It's almost like a love movie, and I saw it on Shudder, and it's really fucking good. It's like almost like a psychological thing. Like you don't know if the guy is imagining that there's this monster outside of his house.
Okay.
I'll find the title. I'll message it over, but that's another good one. So yeah, those are some of mine there.
So I'm excited, Beaver. So I'm going to go because I'm
Yeah,
sure
go
with
ahead.
you're being such a fan of creature features, your list is going to be fucking stellar.
It's gonna be fucking white girl wasted. Let me tell
Dude,
you.
you're like a fucking pumpkin spice with a penis right now.
This
That's what
is
you
gonna
are.
be a pumpkin spice list for sure.
Oh, fuck.
Swear
Okay,
to God.
so number 5 for me is I almost put Zombievers on there because I'm the same with you, AJ. I like the campy shit. I like low budget. Like I used to joke, like I love like what are those shitty like sci-fi remakes where they barely take the name of like Escape LA and it's like Escape San Diego, but it's like everything's the same about the movie.
Yeah.
I used to joke that I wanted to make a movie and I was like, I'm gonna call it fucking Killer Koalas from New Zealand and and it starts out serious, like because like in these creature features always put it. Why would you put a killer koala on a family cruise? Well, that's the only way we could get them across the fucking ocean. So, so for me, this one's a nostalgic one. I actually watch this every year with my brother, and it's Black Sheep from 2006 about killer sheep in Australia that die. And I'm going to spoil the ending. They die from a fart that blows up, but it's so campy. There's one scene, and I'm sure you've seen it, AJ, because you did that, but they don't even have a budget where there's a head that pops through a doggy door of a sheep and it starts chewing on the woman's leg. They literally just took a sock and glued eyes on it and just have it gnawing on her leg. And I'm watching it go, this is fucking amazing. And my wife's looking at me going, this is fucking terrible. But we watch that every Christmas because me and my brother used to have a contest of who could pick the worst movie. And he found it in that like $3 Walmart bin or whatever.
Yeah.
So we watch every year. Number 4 for me is Critters, the original. The whole franchise I love. Critters in space. It's so ridiculous. But it's
Dude.
one of those, I love just seeing them eat. I mean, that if you look at the Critters franchise, the first one tries to be serious, and then they just went fuck it full in on the next three and just said, Leprechaun did the same thing. The first Leprechaun's great, and then let's let him be next to Snoop Dogg and talking rhymes the whole time. Number 3 is Gremlins 2. And the reason it's 2 is because Gremlins 1 is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. So I could not put a holiday film on this creature features. 2, because Gremlins 2, there's so many more varieties of the Gremlins, like the bat gremlin and the vegetable gremlin, and Spike turns into a spider. So love that one. 2 is a classic, Trimmers. I remember the first time I saw that, I was in first grade at Bjorn Peterson's house, and all they could talk about is my favorite bobblehead Muppet that I want to fuck, Reba McEntire, in a basement with a ton of guns shooting a graboid. And that's all they described to me. And I was like, I'm fully in on this. And I love that movie. And then number 1, I'm going to cop out here. I'm going to go with a classic. And there's a few reasons that it's my top creature feature, is The Thing. The 1980s. John Carpenter's version.
That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Right. The scene where they're lighting the blood is probably one of the most well-written scenes, in my opinion. But the reason I pick it too is because it's a creature without a form. And so it's a creature feature of a creature that we don't know what it actually really fucking looks like, even though it shows forms.
Right.
And so I think that makes it amazing. If I did honorable mentions, I'm not going to do Zombiers. You put it on there, but I would do Deep Star 6 is one of my favorite campy, shitty, like deep sea horror films. It's so bad, but it's like one of those, it's so bad it's good. And then the next one would be Cloverfield. I think because when it came out, it was transcending of its time. Just because also the I don't know if you guys are aware with Cloverfield, it started out as, what are those called? Those real life like RPGs.
Yeah.
Where you could go online and learn all this stuff and like stuff like that. I know that the other films, the subsequent films that came out, weren't actually Cloverfield movies, even though 10 Cloverfield Lane's amazing.
Yeah.
They bought those movies and then just inserted Cloverfield Monster and said, oh, it's part of the franchise, which I think detrimented the franchise hugely. But that's my list. B-word, get on with your creature feature-ness, which
I was
I'm not
actually
excited
pretty
for.
happy because you had 2 on your top 5 that were also on my top 5.
You've probably never even seen them too. That's the best part. You're just one of those guys that's like, I've sort of seen The Thing.
Yeah, I just Googled the fucking list and this
Yeah.
is what I came up with. Yeah. No, actually, I have. I've seen all of these movies that I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You've mentioned, well, I guess you've kind of mentioned 3 of them, but I think one of them I want to do the franchise and not necessarily the movie, if that's allowed.
Yep.
Actually, you and I talked recently about this particular movie, so I'm going to go 5-1. Gremlins 2, exactly for the same reason that you said. I loved all the additional characters. I loved all that. That was fantastic. So that's my number 5. I don't know growing up if like Tremors was fantastic, dude. I remember watching that shit and like I didn't really understand what was going on, but as I've gotten older, I appreciate the movie actually a lot more. It's not fucking like weird or campy or whatever. Like I can watch it at any point in time. Number 3 for me, I want to put the Cloverfield franchise, and you and I have had the same discussion. You've already talked about Cloverfield and how it doesn't really align, and I appreciate that, and I agree with that, and I also understand that. But 10 Cloverfield Lane with John Goodman, I thought he was fucking whacked out of his mind in that one, and John Goodman's one of my favorite actors. 1 and 2 is where I got all white girl wasted here, boys. So I picked Alien.
That's a good one.
Alien is a great movie. But it's not like, sea creatures from, Denver or something that you guys were going to pick.
The great Salt Lake sea creatures.
Yeah, the great Salt Lake Nessie, So Alien, I that's my number 2. I struggled on that one, not putting Predator on my list.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Alien better than Predator. So that's why I went that way. And then number 1, and I don't know if this is technically a creature feature, but I like total favorite fucking thriller suspense movie is A Quiet Place. I thought that was really good. I was actually talking with Jake recently about my problem with the monster, though, is that I feel like they ripped it off of Stranger Things and with the Demogorgon, and I didn't like that. But as far as the movie and watchability and everything goes, I really like A Quiet Place. So those are my top 5.
Nice. I got one more honorable mention. Peter Jackson's Dead Alive.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, that if for those listening that aren't familiar, this movie at one time probably had the biggest like body count, or broke the record for the highest body count, and the gore is just absolutely Nickelodeon. And I don't want to ruin the ending for you, but his mom ends up turning into something that's almost undescribable. You got to see Dead Alive. It was a Peter Jackson film in the 90s.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I was worried when you said that, because at first I was like, oh, he's going to go King Kong on us, isn't he? The one that I always fall asleep during. Yeah. And I'm glad you did not go that route. Is the gore on that one like comparable to like the Toxic Avenger, where it's like so like absurd?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but I mean, it's the whole time the movie's playing, you're looking at the person next to you going, that just fucking happened. That's the feel of that film.
Yeah, it almost gets in the sense like when we talked last week, like horror porn, where you're like, you're just doing this now just to do it. And I have an appreciation for that. There are times and places, I think, but so we talked creature features. We talked a lot of things. Now there is the original, and I wish this would have gotten remade properly with Tom Cruise, but the Universal, what is it? The Dark
Universe
of the original Monsterverse from the 1930s through the 1950s. And I don't know if AJ would pick this, but I mean, if you did a battle royale, okay, where they're all just fucking fighting at once. We're not going to go, they were in a room and like just throw them all in a room and they all fucking want to kill each other. Where you had Dracula, the Wolfman, Invisible Man, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, I guess Frankenstein's Bride. Am I missing any B word?
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera.
The piano player. Yeah, fucking that guy.
And did you say the Wolfman?
I did say the Wolfman.
Okay.
Who do you got out of this winning, AJ, if they're all in a room fighting?
As much as I love Wolfman, my money's on Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Why?
Because a creature fighting for love, my man, is just unstoppable.
And you even said that with a smile. Like we're not even. That was $1 million smile too, Jake. Did you see that? I think my chair's wet. But here's my problem here is that I don't.
He's got that fucking tanky ass armor. I mean, he doesn't. If I recall, he doesn't change from man to beast. He's always beast. So, there's Wolfman's problem right there. What if it's not a fucking full moon? Uh-oh. Right. And then I think the attention span on Frankenstein's monster is a little too low. And, I'm going with fucking Creature all around. I don't know.
I disagree.
On that.
I disagree. I respect your opinion.
Yeah,
no, for sure. You got them, B-word?
I got Frankenstein, bro.
Oh, God, that's a retarded pick. That is a retarded pick.
All I'm saying is that given enough, you're talking about this battle royale. You have to trust in all of the members of this battle royale. So some are going to win, some are going to lose. That's going to get them off. That's going to eliminate several up front. If Frankenstein started against the Creature from the Black Lagoon, as an example, like this is a Royal fucking Rumble, right? Like stone cold music comes out, Frankenstein hits the ring. And then you've got Triple H music comes out, and here's the fucking Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like they're gonna fucking beat their ass, right? But I don't know that Frankenstein is gonna have any problem fighting any of these other ones. And I'm not saying that Frankenstein is going to just like throttle the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but I'm saying he's gonna whoop some ass, dude. And there's a lot of arguments like Dracula's the best or fucking the Wolfman because of his animalistic instincts. Frankenstein's got retard fucking strength, bro.
I knew you were gonna. Hey, you guys!
That's exactly it, dude. It's exactly it. And the thing is I've met some people that have retard fucking strength, and I'm fucking scared of them.
Can they swim?
You can do shit to them, and it's fucking gonna piss them off, and that's scary, dude.
Can he swim? I do like that. Can he swim? Probably not. See,
if it makes it back to the backyard pool, man, I think Frankie boy's fucked.
Although, what is this, like an ICP backyard brawl now? Because I was gonna say, I thought B-word was gonna shit on your Creature from the Black Lagoon because there's no water around. They're not in the fucking kiddie pool. All right, guys. So I have a little theories behind this. So originally, I was gonna go with the Creature of Black Lagoon, like AJ, because I was thinking the armor, like he's the most unknown creature out of all of them, right? But for me, the Invisible Man's winning this.
Oh yeah,
you're fucking stupid.
He's a pussy. And the pussy is king, boys, in more ways than one. Because here's the thing. Dracula, yeah, he's the smartest stuff, but he's going to fight somebody. The Wolfman, if there's clouds, he's fucked. If somebody gets a hold of Silver, he's fucked. His animalistic instincts, I think, are going to take over too, where he gets a little too crazy, and him and the creature of the Black Lagoon probably kill each other. Frankenstein could win this with his restart strength. The problem is, B-word, you forgot, the dude has a penis still, and it works. And his wife is there.
How do you
And
know it
there's
works?
two problems with that.
How do you know it works? Explain.
He has got a wife, and the only way that guy's keeping a wife is if he's got the long dong, bro. He's got
hey,
bolts in the side of it. He was the first one with a dick piercing. He's the king of Prince Albert.
hey, hater, check this out.
Yeah.
Lesbians have wives too.
Oh God, shut up. All right, what I'm saying is though his wife's there, so twofold. He's either going to look at her and be horny, and that's all he cares about, or she's going to boss him around and nag him, say he kills her first, and then somebody knocks him off.
See, I thought that same thing too. I thought he would kill her first.
The mummy, I don't know. I think if he gets unwrapped, he's really screwed. Things fall out.
You know when the mummy's most screwed though?
Hmm.
Fucking quarantine 2020.
Oh,
people are gonna chase him down for a couple squares, bro.
Can't spare a square. So, I mean, I love that nobody brought the Phantom of the Opera because fuck that guy. But the Invisible Man, all he's going to do is hide out. He's just going to hide out, let them all kill each other, and then just show up. I mean, that's why he wins. Who's finding him? Unless he accidentally walks into something, he's not losing. So I got the Invisible Man on this just based on that commonality. Like nobody's catching him. He can sit and hide in the corner. I did love how you made them have fucking walkout music like you're their fucking agent. Like, oh, this guy, the Creature of Black Lagoon's Triple H music. How the fuck did you correlate that?
I don't know, dude. It just came to me. I was kind of thinking originally, like, is this DX music versus NWO music?
Oh.
But I went a different route.
Okay. See, the other thing is the Creature of the Black Lagoon. I imagine his like nephew is in that Guillermo del Toro movie where that woman's fucking a fish. So that whole bloodline went down, dude. Like that creature, like fucked the wrong chick in the beginning, and now he's got his little nephew out there banging a woman like a fish named Wanda.
Oh my god, dude.
That's how I feel.
All right. Well, to end this, I've got some questions. Okay. And we didn't talk about this. So Jake and I were joined by the bottle or the bottom of the lineup boys. And they have a segment where what would your walkout music be? Right. So more or less they're thinking baseball. You come out with your walkout music. What would it be? Since we have an artist on with us tonight, AJ, you're coming to the stage. You're up to bat, whatever the occasion is. What's your walkout music?
Cake by Rihanna.
Why? Why?
Now you go back and you listen to that track tonight, boys, and you'll know why.
I like the comment. There's that $1 million smile again. He's just like, if people can see him on camera, he just it's almost like he winked at us like, yeah, fuck you boys. Go. He just wants us to go listen to the song. I guarantee I'm going to go listen to it. I'm going to text him, go, why the fuck did I listen to this? I got you to fucking to listen to Rihanna Cake.
Dude, I'm not going to lie, man. That's my alter ego right there. That fucking shit gets me going.
It's like Weta by Twista.
Yeah, man. It's like,
Leeward, what's yours? I mean, we picked them before. But what you got tonight?
Yeah, we have picked them before. And to be honest with you, I don't know what it was that I picked, but, it changes all the time. I think, I don't know. How about I pick one for you and you pick one for me?
All right. You pick mine.
Barbie Girl Aqua.
How come every time we talk music, you think I'm like this big Barbie Girl fan?
Okay, well, whatever.
I just want to know. Like, you've mentioned Barbie Girl on this show like 4 fucking times.
It's your favorite. It's your favorite song. Like if Spice Girls sang Barbie Girl, like you would rock that shit every day.
Fuck you. Yours is Spice Girls, Spice Up Your Life. That's what you get to walk out to. So we're all walking out to some girl singing something. Cake, Spice, and fucking Aqua.
Yeah. I accept it.
All right, AJ. So you can find all your guys' music on iTunes, correct?
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, Bandcamp. We're on all the music sites, whatever you prefer. You'll probably find us, or just listen to it free on YouTube. And then all our social medias. We got the Instagram, we got Facebook. At Wyatt the Ashes. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, come join the Earn Boys with me and some other friends. You know, all the other 5 of us, I guess. You said there's 6 fans, right?
Something like that. I mean, we're getting up there. We're almost in double digits.
So I do have a
Nice.
question for you due to we played some of our songs.
Uh.
If I take a picture of me with an acoustic guitar,
Yeah,
send it to you, you think we can do a new track and release it?
yeah. I've already wanted this.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna release one. Once we do, everybody will know on the socials on both ends. But we will release one more Death Squad acoustic song without Julie, and that's probably gonna be the name of the song. And do that. But anyways,
All right. Well, with that, definitely go check out AJ. Check out Wyatt the Ashes. Support with his cause. Support what he's doing. And make sure to also support the Bleach Bros. Check us out on Linktree/Bleach Bros Podcast. We've got some merch. We've got some socials. We've got our episodes, different formats on how to listen. However you want to do that, check us out. Make sure to subscribe. Invite some friends. And with Jake, what do you got for me?
well, thanks AJ for coming, and thanks for all the dirty talk. And come back and get sanitized.
Appreciate you guys.
Went to the bathroom. Was feeling kind of frisky.
Look, there's a pickle.
Thought there might be something to do.
Like toilet paper.
I was in the